Hello and welcome to Wingin It. So I have something a little bit different today. What I'm going to be doing here is a Wingspan Speedrun against the hard Automa. So some of you might have seen Tuck and Cash's video on this recently, where the two of us competed in a Wingspan race. If you haven't seen that video, I do recommend checking it out. We were just trying to compete with each other and see who could beat the hard Automa in the faster time. This is something that we've been talking about a little bit on the Wingspan tournament Discord recently, and I was curious to see how low I could get the time for beating the hard Automa. So it was quite quick in the race I had against Tuck and Cash, but I thought I'd give it a few goes myself separately just to see how fast it would be possible to do. So I don't really have any speedrun specific strategies at the moment, other than just play the game normally and try and do every action as quick as possible. So you'll see I'm going for a fairly standard grassland engine, hopefully nothing too controversial. I did get quite lucky with the Towhee and the bunting at the start. I think those are both two really good options to get in the grasslands. It just means I can, lay eggs as much as possible, avoid those trips to the bird feeder. I'm still getting 2 food a turn, so that's definitely strong. And then the ruddy duck came up as well in the tray, which is such a nice bird in this early round. It eats the food I get from my grasslands, and yeah, it's just going to extend that wetlands out and allow me to get some more cards. So yeah, as I said, not really too much in terms of any speedrun strategies per se, just try and get through the actions as quick as possible. One tip I would have is try and use a controller. It's definitely quicker than keyboard and mouse. You can just button mash as much as possible to get through those actions really quickly. So you see I come to the end of round 1 just under 2 minutes, so that felt like a pretty quick time, so I'm quite happy with this. And yeah, just the grasslands I've got set up definitely feels quick. One thing I have noticed in a few of the runs I've been doing, something like the Towhee is one of the quicker cards to activate because it's just one click and you get food. And the bunting's not far behind. Obviously you do have that slightly longer action where you're going to the bird feeder and actually picking the food. So it's not quite as good, but it is still pretty fast. Definitely something like the Towhee or the flycatcher or the Phoebe. Those are really strong birds for something like this because you can just click through. I had a few games with the hummingbirds and even the raven. They just take a little bit too much time in terms of activating. So you see in that turn I did get the Phoebe and the raven, but I'm going to prioritise the Phoebe here just in terms of speed. Obviously the raven's nicer because you get more flexibility in your food choice. You can take any food you want, whereas Phoebe you're restricted to those grubs. But really, if I'm getting 3 food a turn, it doesn't really matter what food it is. That should be plenty to get down pretty much any bird in the game at this point. So yeah, really all I'm looking at doing is just trying to get through that grasslands. I will have to play a bird in the forest here just so I at least qualify for the end of round goal and get those 2 points, because it's not just about doing this as quickly as possible. You actually still have to beat the hard Automa, which is a challenge in itself. So yeah, it's not just about going quickly, it's about going quickly but also making good decisions, making quick decisions, and being able to score those points highly. So quite a nice tray here. I've got my eye on the whooping crane. Not entirely sure why I went for eggs first, if I'm honest. I think the whooping crane is such a nice bird to get with my grassland set up, just because it takes any food, so I don't really have to be fussy about what I'm feeding it. I think I wanted to prioritise Meadowlark. In hindsight, that probably wasn't the best decision because it is a slower bird to activate, and as a result I do lose the whooping crane from the tray. It's a lot of points, and especially against the Automa, that's scoring me 2 points, and the Automa's not getting any eggs from that. And I do have quite a lot of ground nest spaces, so it works from that perspective, but you'll see in these last 2 rounds it does kind of slow down my engine quite a bit, just because it takes longer to lay those eggs. But yeah, other than that, I think the grasslands is going okay. I did manage to grab the horned lark and the woodcock from the tray, so I think those are both really strong birds. Again, both ground nests. They eat the right food that I'm already getting from my engine, so yeah, I think I can prioritise getting those down. And yeah, from this point I'm kind of looking at the cards I've got and thinking it's probably not worth spending another turn drawing cards. I think I can work with what I've got. Only 6 turns left. Try and get as many of those birds down, and yeah, really just try and breeze through these actions, and you'll see, you know, the longest part of this is waiting for the Automa to take their turn. You know, I can get through that grasslands in 5-10 seconds or so. It's really not a long activation. So yeah, just over 5 minutes at the end of round 3. So I hadn't done too many runs at this point, but this felt like a quick time, and certainly compared to the times that me and Tay set in our race on his channel, it was certainly quicker than that. So yeah, I was quite happy with how this is going. So yeah, not getting food from the bunting here, but again, it's not a huge problem. I think those 2 seeds are probably enough. I might have been able to get the raven down. You'll see I've had to go with the heron vulture in the wetlands, which isn't ideal. It's not huge point scoring, but it does free up some egg spaces, and obviously those birds come with their own egg spaces, so gives me some options. Unfortunately, the king rail does come up in the tray immediately afterwards, so that would have been a nice bird, but you know, you take what you get, and at this point I'm really just thinking fill up those egg spots. The food doesn't matter, I can just cycle through that, and yeah, just trying to get these turns over as quickly as possible. It was a bit of a shame here that the Automa pink powers did activate, so slowed me down a little bit. I had to activate the vulture and the horned lark. Probably could have saved a few seconds without that. But yeah, skipping that probably again took a little bit of time, so there's a few seconds left on the table here. But you'll see coming up to the end of this game, it felt like quite a good time. And yeah, I think definitely I would encourage any of you to have a go at this. It was quite a good challenge for me, just trying to, you know, make these decisions as quickly as possible, to try and get through the game in as short a time as possible. So, you know, I think in some of these games you can spend quite a few minutes agonizing. I've certainly had turns in games that have lasted longer than this entire game did, so yeah, it was an interesting challenge, and yeah, I think this time was good, but I can definitely bring it down a bit more, so keep your eyes peeled for more of these Wingspan speedruns. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.